Let's see. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, welcome. Welcome back. Welcome, welcome. Hope you guys having a good day. Good day, good start to your day. Yeah, we got Goldie here ranging, man. It's like in like since yesterday, since we had also the news, you see like price ranged. Price range. That's why I was not even bothered. I was not bothered on Friday. I was not bothered yesterday because price was just ranging. Price was just ranging. Price was ranging here on Friday. But we don't have any fundamentals today. Today we got a nothing. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have anything. So that's a good start. It's a good start. Don't have anything here today. I think the next thing we have is a tomorrow FOMC meeting minutes. That's gonna be the next thing. But yeah, so far, we're just chilling here. I'm waiting for price to move down a bit more. Because like whenever I trade the pre-London session, it doesn't matter if the pre-London is not really trending, because like during the pre-London time, that's when the trends actually begin usually. So now that I'm seeing like now in the London session and price has not yet moved, so I'm just gonna be waiting then, because I don't want to get caught in any kind of indecision. So we're just holding this range here currently for now. If anything, I'm just gonna look and see like, okay, so we've been moving down since yesterday. Also you look at the daily candle over here. Look at the way the daily candlestick rejected those highs and then came down like this and closing like a bearish doji candlestick. So I'll just be anticipating that this candlestick here could reflip, break the lows, and then continue to fill this range, which we've kind of been filling. And for the most part, price on gold has been moving down bearish. So this is something that I think could be a good idea here, that price can move down, continue moving down for the week towards 3280. So yeah, that's going to be the game plan. But as for now, we're seeing a lot of ranging. As you can notice, a lot of wicks over here. So you're seeing a build-up of wicks, small doji candle, like doji body candlesticks. So there's not much volume here going on. So yeah, just gotta wait. Just gotta wait. It looks like the market is waiting for something. I'm not sure like if it's really gonna be waiting now for September rate cuts, because it's still quite early. So it's waiting, I think, for FOMC meeting minutes. It's waiting for I think there's a talk on Thursday. So I'm quite blessed to be able to catch what I catch. And then we're gonna ask God for some patience to sit on our hands and avoid the ranges over here. Just gotta wait for price to come down, at least the daily to reflip here by 33.32. Get that reflip, then I can say, okay, maybe now we can move. Maybe now we can move with this type of volume there. Yeah, chat, any questions? Any questions in the chat? Something not clear about that breakdown? Shall drop? It shall. It shall drop, sir. That's what we would love to see. A little dump beat. But you see right now, it's like, damn, it's even creating new lower low and it's coming back into the range. Oh, can I tell something to my first trade of the day? Yeah, this was a really nice shotgun entry over here. So it's basically, the same old TFX concepts. Same old TFX concepts here. So I woke up, of late, I haven't been very much on my schedule. I've just been like sleeping a little bit longer, and then just coming onto the charts and then catching whatever move shows up. So like today I was on the charts for, I think like, wait, let me see when I take this trade. First of all, this was at 125. Yeah, I was on the chart probably for, man, maybe like 15 minutes. 15 minutes, and I saw that we had some kind of resistance over here. some kind of a resistance. So I was waiting to see, okay, you know, candlestick's pushing up right now. I didn't see any entry confirmations here, but I was noticing like, okay, so, you know, we got resistance and we have a clean range up towards like 33.41. You know, and this range here was like worth about a 27 pips. I'm like, okay, you know, candlestick was, and by the way, this candle, the way it was closing, it was like, it was kind of obvious because, you know, if you look at the 1 minute, like you'll see the candlestick, it's just rushing. It's rushing with so much volume. So it can close above that area over there. And I think it's because it's consolidating here for such a long time. So if you look at this, there's like a small little consolidation here and here, but this is like a fake out underneath that. But also, you know, you can use that inverted head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, little SMA confluence, candlestick close above resistance right over here, and then you clean range, pretty nice clean range. So I said, okay, you know what, next candlestick opens up, I'm going to take a buy. And that's it. Candlestick created its lows, and then rebroke the highs, and then continued. Actually, I had a wick there on my broker. And then price started to move bullish. Then I secured here at about, you know, like 16 pips. 16 pips, stop loss within the range like this. Expecting that volume for pre-London can continue to make... Oh, look at gold. What's going on there? Gold is skyrocketing up again. Yeah, so then price can continue to move up. So that was the idea, you know, breaking wick highs. Really nice confirmations here. You know, nothing new. Nothing new. It's just the same old thing. That's why I say it's like it's the same thing. You have to stick with the stream for at least a quarter. You know, give yourself time to kind of like fully understand these concepts, because, you know, everybody is at a different learning. Some people have been trading longer, they kind of understand it faster. Some people not. It might take some time. But yeah, man, look at this. Price here on gold has shot up like 40 pips. 40 pips, holy. Nice little liquidity grab there. Let's see. Good 1 minute play with a fake out. Oh yeah, this was nice. I think I've seen that fake out. Let's see on the 1 minute. Oh yeah, we got a small little fakey situation happening here. Look at this consolidation, little fakey down towards support, and then price rebroke the highs to continue moving up. It's like a accumulation, manipulation, distribution. Or you could just consider it like a distribution as a whole. If you're considering this just general zone like this, somewhat like this, for price to distribute from that zone. Yeah, it's really nice. Getting some orders being paid out over here. Some people just got into some trades. And for me, that's like how I can make the most sense of a move like this. It's just to track it. See, where is it coming from? You know, like a hunter. We're going to go into the bundus. And we're going to track where price is coming from. You know, and it's coming from down over here. So it's coming from down over here. How could you have caught this move? You know, that's the next question. Is like, how could you have caught this move? Does your concept allow you to catch such a move like this? You know, if it doesn't allow you to catch a move like this, then, you know, you can not expect to catch those moves, because that's going to happen over and over again. So if your rules were not applicable there, then, you know, maybe you can see like, okay, so how could I adjust my rules just a bit? If it's almost like in a similar way that you could have caught it, but maybe your stop loss was too big or something like that, then how could you adjust your rules slightly that you could catch the move? You know, that's what I do sometimes. I'm like, okay, you know, this is my entry over here, structurally speaking, but I don't have an area to put my stop loss. So I go and look at where else could I put my stop loss? You know, that makes sense for such a move like this. But yeah, right now we are massively consolidating. The daily is up 0.25%. I was kind of hoping it would come down for the sells, to be honest. If it's not coming down for the sells by 33.32, then I'm just going to have to wait for price to break above resistance here by 33.41. And if we break above 33.41, then, you know, maybe the daily can start trending. And then we can, you know, maybe look for some buys. But right now it's in a massive accumulation, chat. Like, this thing's about to explode somewhere. As you can see, we got like some kind of resistance over here, and, you know, we got some kind of support. And price is just moving sideways at this point. Hey, Illest, what's good? What's good? Explain the trade you took? Oh, I just did. I already did. Can I have that masterclass link, please? Just go on my YouTube channel. You'll find it. It's under new uploads. The most recent upload. Under new uploads. Or if you scroll down, there's a playlist there that says Gold Masterclass, I think. Let's see. Didn't see it. I was trying to hold my shit because I got work. I got work on my living room and the guy working there was using the bathroom. Oh. Yeah, now you miss it. Now you miss it here. But it's okay, you know. This range is like 73 pips. 73 pip range. Pretty big range. And this is what you'd be looking for anyway. If I know you, you're looking for some sell over here if it gets overextended soon. But yeah, like price is now breaking above resistance, so I want to see some kind of volume to come in because the daily is up 0.28%. You know, we need to start going up a little bit more. Yeah, add some of those percentage gains on the daily, and that's gonna be nice. Yeah, then I think we can take a buy and you know, hopefully it's gonna be a good buy. Watch a little bit of that meeting yesterday with Trump and the European leaders. Doesn't seem like much went on there. You know, it does not seem like much really went on. And also the market is not doing anything. It's just stuck here. It's stuck in this range. Oh. Yeah. It's the Asian highs. Yeah, we got Asian highs. True. It might be looking to sweep up the Asian highs. Anybody watch that meeting yesterday? Between Trump and Zelensky and, you know, the prime ministers and everybody? It reminded me of just uni days because, you know, I studied this topic like international studies, international relations. I did this topic, so what would happen is we'll just have some diplomatic scenarios like that, you know, like what would we do if Iraq, you know, during Iraq war and that sort of thing, and we'd be sitting around a table and we'd all be like representing countries and talking about it. It just felt like it, man. It felt like it, especially when it ended and then like how everybody now relaxes and stuff. Man, it's just a lot of banter. Those things are just a lot of banter, but I don't think like really anything was much of a development over there. Trump was just like, oh yeah, you know, we're just gonna work on this from all our countries, you know, we're working from different countries, but we know how to get the work done, something like that. Like straight banter for the media, that's all it is. But yeah, I mean, that's why markets didn't regulate. If you look at the daily as well, it didn't even do anything over here. We've just been consolidating. And now we continue consolidating. That sounds so fun. I'd want to play the part of a dictator. Yeah, if you get like North Korea or something. Actually funny. I don't remember anybody getting the dictator country. Well, because, you know, they're not diplomatic, so. When was the last time you ever saw Kim Jong-un sitting around a table with these guys? You know, it doesn't happen. And he also won't speak English. He'll just speak in his language. You know, much like Putin. Putin even just speaks mainly in Russian. He doesn't speak English. He can, but he doesn't. Shashid Lotus. Thank you for the sub, man. Yeah, now we created like a double resistance over here. Double resistance, we got double support. Man, like price is just moving sideways now. Massive range. So this thing is about to break soon. More like I am gonna put tariff on you and you and you. Yeah. That's how it is, right? More like that, because when I see Trump sitting there, it's like he doesn't respect anyone. You got Macron sitting on to his right hand side, who probably thinks that guy is a gay, because of his wife. You know, you got I think the I'm not sure the Italy representative, is that Italy president or prime minister, I'm not sure who she is, but yeah, you got her, and you know, Trump's probably thinking, you know, she's a woman. And then you got Zelensky, and Trump's probably thinking Zelensky's a beggar. You know, you got all these people around the table that Trump does not respect these people. The only people he has respect for, like people like Putin, you know, like takes those kinds of guys more seriously, especially just because of his character. So it is kind of funny to see. It is funny. Especially the way Zelensky was like dressing up and stuff this time, trying to get on his good side. Put on a suit this time around. Yeah, so we're gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. We haven't had much development in terms of macro fundamentals. Let's see. Following his Monday meeting with Ukrainian President Zelensky and European leaders, Trump said he had spoken with Russian President Putin and was working to arrange a direct meeting between Putin and Zelensky. Oh, that should be good. To be followed by a trilateral summit among the three presidents. Yeah, I think that one's gonna happen now. I wonder what country that's gonna happen in. It's gonna be Alaska. You know, Putin said that Trump should come to Moscow for the next meeting. Or if they're both gonna go to Moscow. Oh, imagine that. Imagine Putin gets Zelensky and Trump in Moscow. They raise hopes for a potential peace deal, though investors remain skeptical about the imminent breakthrough. Attention is also firmly on Powell's speech. Oh, in Wyoming. Yeah, I think that's the one on Thursday. Where traders are looking... Or is that the one tomorrow? Where traders are looking for clues on whether the US Central Bank will resume interest rates. Cutting interest rates in September. Yeah, it's a lot of waiting here. Even fundamentally, it's a lot of waiting here. See what chat is saying. New follow and new sub here. Thank you, Soyski. How many languages do you speak? I speak English, Russian, Kiswahili. And I did a small certificate in German, but my German is honestly not good. So sorry, I don't speak. I know we got requests for Hindi. I don't speak Hindi. I don't speak any other languages. Yeah, that makes sense because translator can translate it much better to make sure context is correct. Context is it's like a bit of a hit and miss. You know, there's some words in Russian, like when Putin speaks, it's not been translated correctly. That's the interesting thing about like linguistics. You know, you can never really get the right translation sometimes. So it would be nicer if he just spoke in English, you know, because he can. There will be less of a translation issue there. What do I speak at home off stream? I speak Russian, mainly, and English. But I don't have a very strong Russian accent. So if I speak to like a genuine Russian, they're gonna know that I don't have very strong Russian accent. I'm like a Chinese Russian. Russian from Walmart. But I can speak it. Ongea Swahili to ski. Let me not embarrass myself on the Swahili front. Maybe you can go mediate the war. Oh, Ukraine and Russia. Let's see. Yeah, I hear that. When I watch things in cinema here, they have the subtitles and sometimes translation's so off. It adds comedy to any movie. Yeah, and that's the thing. You don't even want to watch a movie like in any other language. I'll just wait. Like even if it's like the only quality and it's in a different language, just rather wait. But sometimes, you know, like my family members, they can watch a movie in Russian, and I'm like, damn, you know, it just ruins it. Ruining it. It's like watching anime. You know, you wouldn't want to watch anime in English. You'd want to watch it in Japanese. You know, the way it's meant to be watched. See this? We got like 26 pip range here. Because if we're at the top of the consolidation, just re-break these lows and then maybe come down a bit. So yeah, we're just chilling, guys. We're just chilling. Market's not moving anywhere. We're like in traffic. You know, like when you're going to work and you gotta sit in traffic. That's what we're doing here. We got some build up going on. So until candlestick starts to free flow again, then you know, then we're gonna have the room to do something. Maybe if candles start to move like this. Facts. I'd speak too well and learning my third. Oh, what's your third? What's the third one gonna be, sir? Gold faking out buyers. Okay, so you see what happened with this 1 minute? That's how my trade was playing out in the morning here. Like you see this candle, the way this one was moving up so aggressively. That's how on the 1 minute candles were moving up before the 5 minute candlestick closed over there. It was like rushing to get up here. So I think, you know, like wherever the candlesticks close, it's quite important where the candlestick closes. You know, so you can even see in the last minute, the price action can just completely reverse and then rush and say, oh yeah, we're meant to close up there. And then, you know, it's just going to find its way up there. Waiting for Forex Factory or Financial Juice to say, oh, what just happened? I think it's just like some kind of normal reaction. Let me see. Yeah, I would say it's just some kind of normal reaction, or maybe something happened. But it's definitely not directional. It's just stuck in the range. Bank of Japan offers a lend government debt on the spot. UK 2023 GDP revised. Oh, she is Italian Prime Minister. What is her name? Giorgia Meloni. Giorgia Meloni. Italian girls, man, they're aggressive. I don't like Italian girls are beautiful, but they're aggressive. They got a small aggressive personality. Okay, so what can we do? What we gonna do here? Spicy? I got gifted 4 days off from today to Friday. I'll be locked in. Nice to hear it. Let's go. Locked in 1 year straight, listening to you every stream, every simulation, and now starting to see some good progress. Thank you, Tetra. Awesome to hear, Stanley. Very nice. Yeah, you know, you see, we don't have much going on here on the charts. It's like we try to just keep it simple. You know, just simple because it's good if we don't have too much stuff on the charts, because then you also kind of rely on those kind of like analysis. You know what I mean? You gotta rely on that analysis. Like remember last time we were looking at Qbank's charts? Man, Qbank's charts, crazy charts. He's got like zones like here. He had like all these zones like this. And then he's got like some kind of, you know, like trend lines, I think it was, something. You rely way too much on that analysis, you know, and this is not gonna stay like this forever. And then it's like, you know, what are you gonna do next? This is for me, man, I'm past this. I'm over this. This is for me what I think is like a novice kind of analysis. You know, not throwing hate or shade or anything like that, but you know, I've been there, I've done that. You know, this is a novice. For me, it's a novice way of trading, and it's a good way just to understand. It's just a good way to kind of like understand the levels in the market. But to be honest, you guys, you're gonna draw a line anywhere here, and it's gonna have some kind of reaction to something in the past. You know, so then it kind of defeats the purpose. But I guess it's a good way to think of levels of support or resistance. But you don't need all them things, you know. Like that doesn't really have anything to do with where we're sitting at right now. Market's consolidating. So, you know, we just keep your chart work clean like this, and then allow your mind to just, you know, watch price action. For what it is, not for what you want it to be. Because then, you know, you're going to force trades, you're going to force entries. You're going to start to see things which are not there. Analysis paralysis will start to come in. Got too many zones on the chart. So yeah, right now for me, this is like, let's label this. Currently, this is going to be a no trade zone over here. So once we see price break above the Asia highs, then we should be getting some kind of like a direction. Some kind of direction. 33.41 over there. I got the 15 minute. We got 50-minute resistance. 30-minute looks good. Just you got some clean range on the 30 to move up here. About like, you know, 46 pips. Towards like 33.46. $33.46. Where are that Asia lows? Got Asia lows. Oh, Asia low is pretty far down. Yeah, Asia is pretty far down, so let's see what other fundamentals we got. The commodities intraday targets and key levels. So spot gold were like 33.16, 33.09. It's still looking for sells, you know, that's a funny thing. That analysis there is still expecting price to continue moving down. Even up towards like 33.09, but we could see 33.09. It's well within reach. Over here, that daily was to like reflip, and if we really start to move down, we could see like, you know, 3300. I think 3300 is gonna be the psychological mark here for gold short positions towards 3300. Then maybe, you know, we got support here on the daily, but that's the next psychological level, because 3300 is like a pretty key zone. You know, it's an area that the market on gold has just been trying to hold above 3,300 for some time. So if we come back down there, man, we're really seeing this weakness in gold spot again coming back in. But we could actually, technically speaking, come down to 3,300 today. Man, I wish I missed the war days. Just buy. Yeah, I miss it. Like, the markets have been uncertain for quite some time now, yeah? Like, sure, we get some bursts of volume every now and then, but for the most part, it's just been a lot of like dealing with uncertainty. This is a massive range. Like, I don't even know we've been in a range this long before. Let's see. This range, let's take this down here. When was the last time we were in this long of a range? Not even there. Oh, maybe sometime here. But this was like, we broke into this in April 2024. Pretty big range. But it was not as messy as the one that we have all the way up here. This one's a lot more messier. There's a lot more wicks. There's a lot more barcoding of sorts. Whereas this one's a little bit more open. But that was April 2024, and it's still smaller than the one that we have now. It's still smaller, so we haven't seen a range like this in, I don't know, very long time. Can't even find one. Maybe here in 2021. But even then, you know, it just seemed a little bit more open of sorts. But yeah, since maybe 2021. What was gold like on COVID if you was trading then? Yeah, I was trading then. Gold was I don't really like gold. Wait, let me see. Like I remember the beginning of COVID, I was still learning how to trade. COVID was about 3 years and 3 months. Say 3 years. The inception of COVID, I think, was what brought so much volume and so much opportunity for a lot of people. But during that time, I would not know the difference. You know, as a new trader, you don't know the difference, like COVID or not COVID. You know, the market is like, you're still building your experience and how candles move. But from the years, let's say after, when I started becoming profitable, I would just say I was not much into macros at that time. You know, I was not really following the news much during that initial phase of profitability. I was just trading my plan. So to be honest with you, like I would just listen to people talk about it, and yeah, I'd get some advice from people and they say, oh, it moved because of this. But I was just trading my plan, you know. I was just like trading my consolidation breakouts, holding my trades, taking my positions. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I am a scalper. You know, as much as I love the macros nowadays, it doesn't really affect my trading. Because like if you think about the buy I took this morning, I was already in and out here. Like this was just a small range, in and out, in and out, in and out. You see, still making trades even when price is not moving anywhere. But yeah, now you see, like Space even says, so the growth. Now I'm looking more at the fundamentals. And it's just to get into a new level, you know. It's not that I need to, it's just to get into a new level. Because, you know, life's all a game of elevation. We're just trying to get better and better and better. So when your cup gets full, you just want to kind of like learn the next thing and the next thing. But I would say it's like the best thing ever though. Like, because once you understand those news events, you kind of understand the markets a bit better too. You kind of understand the movements, the consolidations. You know, that's a huge part of trading is a news. Because if you look at like institutions, for example, they mainly base their trading off news. You know, a little small percentage, maybe like 30%, 20%, something like that is technical analysis. But a majority of it is news, because, you know, with news, it's a little bit better probabilities for those higher time frame moves with a lot of money, because they trade a lot of money, that you'd want to be using news, not technicals. You know, if a country is going to war, probably the country's currency depreciates in value. You know, and then you can have that as a solid evidence to hold positions longer. Because, you know, it's not necessarily even about risk to reward, because they just need to make some... I would imagine it's more to do with a P&L. Like, they just need to manage their risk, make profits, you know, pay their investors, that sort of thing. Because hedge funds need to trade. They get money from people, their job is to trade. But they don't trade necessarily technicals like that. So, yeah, I think that's why the news comes in. And when news comes in, you see markets consolidate. You wonder, why is market consolidating? Because majority of the money is sitting on their hands. Majority of the people who move the markets, they're sitting on their hands. That's why you get consolidations. So it would be ignorant to think otherwise. Ethan, thank you for the sub. It's ignorant. Let's see, gold consolidates ahead of, you see what I mean? Like, even you can see gold consolidates ahead of Jackson Hole Symposium. An early Asia session trade ahead of Jackson Hole Economic Symposium. Traders await any further signals, you know, Fed rate cuts, etc. Where and how did you learn to trade? I would say mainly experience. Like, nothing beats experience. Like, just showing up onto the charts. You know, I think that's the best way to learn how to do anything, is just to show up and do it. So you gotta show up. You gotta keep repeating the process over and over. You get better. You start to notice that in small things, even like, you know, a coach can't even teach you some of these things. You know, you just have to learn yourself. So yeah, that's how I learned. But you gotta learn the foundations first. I learned foundations much like anybody else on YouTube, obviously, and then, you know, then I just take it from there. But it's all about, like, what are you learning? You know, are you learning how to read candles? Are you learning good psychology? Or do you just like the voice of ICT and it's nice to fall asleep to? You know, and it sounds good what he says, and, you know, it's all, you know, for me, I don't have time for that, man. Like, I don't have time for that. Like, I need to learn how to trade. I get it. I love the analysis. The guy has beautiful analysis. Like, he can talks nice, talks calm. You know, it's really good. It's really good if that's where you fall into. But I don't have time. I need to learn how the candlesticks operate. I need to learn these things, like, from a foundation point of view. Because if I go to, if I speak to some random guy on the road, and you know, maybe this guy works for a broker or a hedge fund, you know, there's a low probability he's gonna know what an FVG is. But if we can talk about, you know, oh, markets have been ranging of late, you know, I can talk to him and say, yeah, gold's been a bit uncertain. We've been having a lot of these ranges, you know, we've been ranging sideways, moving like 100 pip ranges, you know, like, there's a higher probability he's gonna know what I'm saying. Like, I'm talking in a more mature sense. I'm not talking about, like, just, you know, youngsters. You know, a lot of these youngsters and stuff, like, you know, all know FEGs and whatnot. Like, I met people who don't know that shit. Like, I met people who actually work, or who worked in hedge funds and stuff, and they don't know that stuff. But they only know stuff like, you know, the fundamentals. They know if price has been trending, if price has been ranging. So these are sort of like the concepts that I mainly focus on. You know, because I think these concepts are going to kind of help you navigate the markets a bit. Like, for example, here, you see you only have 2 lines. Whereas an ICT trader would do this and say there's a fair value gap here. And there's a lot of, like, speculation as well as to why, you know, price should move up and that sort of thing. And yeah, you can get your reactions. You can, you know, that's all well and good. But are you really learning how to read price action? Because, you know, at that point, if you say, look at this red car, all you see is red cars, and, you know, that's all that you see is a red car right there. But you're missing, like, you can be missing the bigger picture of everything surrounding that red car, you know. So I think then it becomes a bit limited, your knowledge. And what happens is, when it stops working, you're kind of lost. You know, you don't know what to do from this point. You said, oh man, you know, I thought this could work for me. You start losing, and then you don't know what to do because you never had a foundation to begin with, you know. So I think that's the most dangerous thing that you can do to yourself, is, like, limit yourself like that. Because, man, when the markets shift, you got to be able to at least be able to read the overall market structure in a very good way. You know, in a very stress-free, simple way. And that's kind of what keeps you motivated. It keeps you going, keeps your edge up, keeps you taking trades. You know, some people, they don't even take trades, man. Some people, when they have a hard time, they can go weeks without taking trades. You know, so then you don't understand how to adapt in the market at that point, because you've never been given the tools to do that in the first place. So, you know, when things get tough, they get really tough. And the problem with the market, man, things can get really tough. But yeah, right now, you know, it's going pretty well. Even though we're kind of ranging, I'm starting to have my open field again over here, because I hadn't had it all month. And it's now coming towards, yeah, the third week over here. So I think it's good. I might just remain disciplined. I've been trading since Jan now and just passed my first funded challenge. Oh, well done, Ethan. Let's freaking go. Yeah, you got past that challenge. You know, you can get your payout. It's a really nice feeling. Really nice feeling to get paid out for the work that you put in. What is Powell gonna do Oh, due to the market this week, I don't think it's gonna do much, to be honest. I think it's just gonna give like a little update on how things are. And you know how Powell's updates go, so it's not gonna be much going on there. We'll see. We'll let the man speak, as I always say. You know, he might say something new, but I'm guessing he's not gonna say anything new. I'm also quite shocked to see how fast the interest rates went up for September. The interest rate cuts. I was not really expecting that, so I don't know how Powell is going to react to that as well. I already felt that Powell wanted to wait until like October, December. So that's going to be very interesting. It's like peer pressure, you know? I feel like he's going to get a bit of peer pressure now to cut the rates. So we're going to see what he does. But it should skyrocket the market when those come. Extraordinary cave trader. It should make price go bullish. I was looking for a cheeky 1 minute play, but this is looking bad. Oh, 1 minute play off the highs. I'm down to the bottom of the range. Yeah, a small little one right here. A little cheeky one. 15.9 pips. Pushed down about, what, 11 pips from this area here. Now it's in like an inverted head and shoulders. Potential reversal. Little inversion. Already blown 250k funded. I'm using this indicator for support and resistance. Oh, why would you? You don't need an indicator for support and resistance. Not necessary. Just you're gonna draw them out yourself. That's like having wheels on your bike, you know? Why do you want to have wheels on your bike? You gotta remove those wheels so you can ride a big boy bike. Why are you riding a tricycle here? You know, you don't need this. Then sometimes this even complicates it even more. It keeps you, you know, it keeps you like, imagine riding a tricycle, right? You don't have that much movement. You're trying to like move, but you don't have that much movement. So it keeps you in line like this. You know, so you don't even have room to do anything else. So it's kind of limiting you there. Oh, let's see. No gatekeeping here, fam. Listen up. I already know this is an ad. 2 months ago. Oh, I knew it. All right, Billy. Let's give you a small ban over here. You can get the Thor hammer. Adios. No advertisements on my Discord. You can advertise on your own Discord. Oh, really nice. Got to sell, buy, break even. Okay, got some partials and then break even. Awesome trade. Very nice. So, what else do we have? Let's go and see what the currency strength meter is saying. Today we got a weak dollar. So gold might start actually, you know, hopefully, you know, maybe it can start trending soon. On a weak dollar, we can maybe start to anticipate maybe price on gold goes up, which is kind of counterintuitive because of what we've been seeing of late, more bearish PA. But if it moves up, at least we have confluence of a weak dollar. Yeah, lay down the law. This is good for dollar or for a gold strength. Got pound strength here. Let's see if pound has finally broken above 200. Nope. I want to see price break 200. And you know, like the SMA is catching up here as well. Look at this, beautiful. 8 SMA is catching up to the daily. Could give it the support that it needs, especially bouncing off a level like this to break above 200 and then just continue to move up bullish. Yeah, I think that would look pretty nice for the pound yen. Yeah, but man, sorry for anybody trading London over here yesterday. I think this was a very difficult time to be trading. Just the pre-New York time. It looks like it was very difficult there. You know, like, imagine how hard it is to catch a profitable trade. Guys, imagine how hard it is. So, you know, like when you ask for, like, you know, signals and trades like that, you know, you gotta respect the craft. It's like you have to work so much discipline. There's so much backtesting because look, ever since yesterday, we only had this buy over here, and then that was a pretty nice buy. And then if you're just looking at the overall PA, you only had these 2 swings, and then majority of the time was just consolidating. So it's like, man, you really have to find yourself in these like very small areas of like where you can get some kind of profitability. Just generally speaking, just looking at PA. I'm not talking about strategies and Fibonacci retracements and all that stuff. I'm just talking about candlesticks. It's like when we look at the way the volume is, you can see you only have one push here. Majority of it was just like consolidating. So man, it can be like very hard. It can be like trading. If you don't master the lower time frames and you want to become a day trader and take like, you know, 2 trades a day, it can be quite difficult for you. Get stuck in these ranges. Especially if you're not securing profits and you're looking for these real bumperclot runners all the time with big stops. With big stops, you're going to get stopped out so much. You know, it can be real hard. Look at this, my man, consolidating all over the place. Even like since today, we're just moving sideways here. But at least it's kind of opening up a little bit. Like you can see it's somewhat spaced out, but still not really going anywhere. More just moving sideways. Like the daily is currently up right now 0.20%, and it's doing some psychology work here on people as well on the lower time frames. So, you know, even learning how to trade the lower time frames can be real psychological roller coaster. Because if you look here on the 5-minute, man, this is doing some serious work on people's psyche. You know, who are trying to trade these ranges. You see, like price broke below the lows, now it's starting to pull back upwards. It's breaking above the highs, and now it's starting to pull back downwards. But I think like the more you tune in to the markets, then you kind of get used to the environment, and you stop taking things personally, and you kind of see it for what it is. Can you have a look at USD ZAR? See, USD ZAR, what's going on here? Gotta start on the quarterly. When you go on a new instrument, always start on the quarterly. The quarterly will give you an idea of where the market's been sitting of late. So you can see USD ZAR here has been consolidating as well. Quarterly has been consolidating, which means there's not real much macro fundamentals driving, obviously, because that's the US dollar. And this instrument is predominantly obviously moving upwards because the US dollar is stronger than South African Rand. As of right now, we're expecting weakness in the dollar, so we can already see some kind of liquidity grab happening here off the quarterly time frame. And you know, with the interest rate cuts on the dollar, I think, you know, price, if it breaks below this support level here, it'll be pretty clean for the rest of the quarter that we can continue, or let's rather say the rest of the year, that ZAR can be selling off. I mean, yeah, USD can be selling off. USD ZAR can be selling off like this with some dollar weakness. I think that's some kind of like correction that we're currently anticipating here in this market, and it's accumulating nicely. So, you know, if we do end up breaking below these lows, yeah, for sure I'd be expecting like a very strong move. Especially after some kind of accumulation like this. Especially if it breaks a high like this and then it starts to struggle. And you got multiple rejection wicks. Look all the way up over here. You got so many rejection wicks. Liquidity grab. This thing is just waiting for those rate cuts to drop. So that's what's currently doing there of the higher time frames. And that's about it. You know, when I look at these other instruments, I rather look at from a higher perspective, because when it comes to intraday trading and stuff, I'm not too interested in that because, you know, it doesn't have the type of volume maybe that I want to see. You know, so I would say, man, if we already had seen ZAR breaking below here, that means on the intraday, it would even be a lot more clearer for you to be looking for those sells. But right now, we are definitely still within some kind of a range. Go back here on the daily. Yeah, like even the daily is somehow ranging. You know, you got like daily support area down over here. You got some daily resistance. It's bouncing off daily support. Maybe it can come back and retest the highs as long as we're still stuck in this overall range on the quarterly. Maybe you can come back and retest the highs over there. So if we break below here, you got some room to move down towards that next daily support. And then that becomes like some kind of like an accumulation breakout. Because if we're already expecting it to move down, maybe, you know, a sell below this daily support area here would be actually a nice play. Because you're going to get a daily candlestick, create like a resistance like this. And then once you start to break like this, that could be a nice play, you know. Got a bunch of orders probably sitting here. Because we're already anticipating with the news that price is going to go down. Ooh, but this is like whips. Look at these whips. Got so many whips here on gold right now. It's like a minefield. It's more leaning to break out later. It looks like it's also leaning to break the highs here. I put new things in analysis. Could you see? I use TFX concept by adding one more confirmation before I entry my buy to increase win rate. Oh yeah, candle resistance closed above resistance. Oh, you waited for the break highs. Okay, got in when the next candle break the previous candle that closed above. Yeah, this is like this is a sticky one, isn't it? Because the candle created like a long wick. You know, it's kind of unfortunate. It would be much nicer if the candlestick had a shorter wick. Is this the same trade? Oh no, this is another trade. This was yesterday's trade, wasn't it? Yeah, I think this was yesterday's trade. And then we got in a bit earlier here. Yeah, we got in earlier here because there's an accumulation play there too. And the bias was bullish. So in a situation like that, you can watch yesterday's stream to see how we could have executed on this with a better stop loss. But yeah, I think, you know, the idea is pretty good. You know, price came up towards resistance as well. So notice that beautiful reaction off resistance. Going in when the next candle breaks the previous candle that closed above resistance, I think is always a good thing, you know. But in a situation like this, yeah, for sure it's not the most nice looking thing because the wick is so long. But look at the way it played out here. Really good. Up towards that resistance point. Simple. I think this morning's trade also came like pretty high up here. It came to 65% of the range and then rejected by, you know, 33.40. Wait, you delete your old videos? Yeah, apparently YouTube had a problem with me telling people not to overtrade and over risk, but they kept all the other dumb videos on YouTube of how to flip $50 to 100K. So that was a bit weird. That was really weird. Like if you go on MambaFX's channel, all his videos are still up. You know, there's a time I think like 2 months ago where YouTube was kind of like sending out these sort of like strikes to trading channels. But the funny thing is, they never touched those other channels which claim to turn $50 to $1 million in a week and that sort of nonsense. But they only came for these other kind of videos for some reason. So that's why all my videos now, they all have like disclaimers and, you know, just trying to be on the safe side of YouTube. But I had to delete my older videos, unfortunately. So yeah, I wish I downloaded them. I should have downloaded them and re-uploaded. But it is what it is. What can you do? That's why I think the best thing in life, honestly, is to just learn a skill. Because, you know, knowledge can't be taken away from you. Explorers, I have them all. If you could send me a drive on my Instagram, that would be nice. A drive of my videos. Then maybe I can see if I can re-upload them. But yeah, you know, the thing about like knowledge can't be taken away from you. Like in life, you know, you don't own YouTube, for example. This platform tomorrow can just say, hey, you're banned, you know? And then what? What are you going to do? What are you going to do if you rely on YouTube? But knowledge, man, knowledge can never be taken away from you. So even if you lose an account, let's say you blow an account or something bad happens, you can always make it back, you know? The skill can never be taken away from you. Always make the money back. YT might have a behind the scene partnership with prop firm. Yeah, maybe. You know, like those prop firms, it's like they watch you. They watch the channels. Especially if you have like affiliation, they watch the channels to make sure that you're not breaking contracts, that you're saying only nice things. You know, you become like a slave. A slave just because you got affiliate link. So you can't speak your mind. You always gotta say, oh, this is the best. This is the best. Man, I've seen someone get sued. There's a guy who got sued like $1 million plus for talking a bit of shit while being in affiliation with a funded program, and they sued him for like $1 million. Crazy, huh? That's why like, you just gotta do your own thing. I'm a firm believer in my own thing. Like, that's why you don't see really affiliations. You don't really see affiliation links in my description boxes. Because if I want to build something, I'd just rather build it myself. You know, and avoid all this other stuff. So hopefully in the future, we can have like some more value being provided somehow. But for now, I think, you know, the main thing is to focus on education. Because I've only been profitable for like around maybe like 4 or 5 years. Because I'm going into my 6th year. So right now it's just a grind time. It's a grind time. We got to pull everything, all my bills, majority of my bills are paid from the market. From the market. I don't earn that much from YouTube and my course to pay my bills. So, you know, I got to lock in. You know, every day I got to wake up. And I gotta take all these trades. I gotta make them count. You know, July was an amazing month. Man, this year so far has actually been a pretty good year. See, account 1 plus 192% on their account. You know, all these trades all called out. And this month we're up 20%. So we still have about how many more weeks? Just about 1.5 more weeks to go over here. So I think, you know, it's gonna be pretty good. It's been a pretty good year. Please check my analysis on AUD Swiss franc in Discord. Let's see, AUD Swiss franc. Yeah, I'm not sure what this is. Just looks like you just sold into some kind of fair value gap. They got like a break and a retest situation happening here. Candlesticks broke below support, retested, and then you started coming down. Really nice. I mean, if you're just using price action, it does just look like a break and a retest. Maybe even a retracement from this high to this low. You got maybe some kind of like a small retracement. I'm not sure if it's a golden zone. Could be the 50. But also you got this kind of break and retest. We kind of like popped above it a little bit. But yeah, I think that's what it looks like. It looks like price has been moving down. It's somewhat consolidated. Not the cleanest, but somewhat consolidated. Broke below, retested, and then continued to move down bearish. Yeah, that's it. What if this is all planned out, so within 24 to 48 hours of each other? So they end the war, gold goes down, and they cut the rates, and gold goes up overall. Gold, oh, back to where it was. Ooh, that's actually interesting. That could be an interesting thing. Yeah, what if they end the war, and then gold goes down, and then they time it somehow with the rate cuts? Oh, that would, if that happens, if the war, let's say if there's like a peace between Russia, Ukraine that was developed shortly before the rate cuts, it's probably pricing in the move for gold to move upwards. But I think, you know, in that case, because the rate cuts hold more weight, it's just going to move up. So it's just going to give like a better pricing that we can skyrocket, continue skyrocketing bullish. I wonder how Trump is creating these peace between these countries that he mentioned. You know, he said there was no ceasefire, but they came to like some kind of some sort of agreement over there. I wonder what sort of agreements that is. You know, he said like the ceasefire idea, he likes the concept, but it's not, it doesn't really work because one country is always losing something during a ceasefire. So, you know, it's the best option because, you know, people stop dying immediately, but unfortunately, like, it doesn't work. So I wonder how he's ending the tensions between these countries. Like, it's definitely some sort of like business move. I don't know what it is. You see, that's the thing with Trump. He doesn't really disclose it. That's the thing, like, even with the rate cuts that he has on the horizon, we don't really know why he's pushing for the rate cuts so much. You know, we can assume, but he's not really speaking about it in detail, of course. Which I think also makes sense, you know. It's only like on a need-to-know basis. That's how military operate. That's how governments operate. They will never tell you unless you really need to know. So if like there's an asteroid heading for Earth the size of Mount Everest, that they will not tell you unless you really need to know. You know, they're gonna find a way to deal with that. Because, man, you tell people things and they panic. And then it makes everything like all go to shit. So it's quite interesting to see what deals this guy's developing. Because, you know, if he did it with the other countries, it might just work with Russia, Ukraine. So we're going to see. He wants to meet up with Putin and Zelensky soon. In a trilateral meeting. So that's going to be interesting. He's going to sit in the middle and go skiing. How are you looking at XAU and GJ? XAU... I mean, GJ is moving up on the daily. Looks like daily just flipped over there. Plus 0.06%. Whereas Goldie is, you know, is just moving sideways here. It's like ranging. There's like a small little consolidation that I'm looking at. I want to see if price can break through this level. Maybe we start to get some volume towards the downside. Because when I was coming onto stream, I thought price was going to come down. And that we're going to get the daily flip by 33.32 and then take some sells. But you see price, instead of moving down, it kind of like broke the lows and then moved back upwards. What's the minimum balance to trade in gold? Minimum balance, at least 500 bucks. Because sometimes I got fake out when use impulse entry, dynamic land and... Oh, you got TP hit, AUD Swiss franc, good stuff. Remember, drink more water. What's my worst moment in trading? Damn, that's a good question. I always wish I had a story for you guys. You know, so many people have stories. Like some people sold off their wedding jewelry, wedding rings, and that sort of thing. Some people lost so much money. It's so nice to hear those stories, right? It's nice. It's like, oh man, this guy went through a hard time, so you know, I think I can do it too. But to be honest, I don't really have like a detrimental story like that. You know, because like I was smart enough to already know if I can lose like 50 bucks, I can easily lose the same way 100 bucks, 200 bucks. I was like, why would I risk, you know, why would I take that risk? Because, you know, then that means I'm just kind of like gambling. There's no difference between that and gambling. So, you know, it's quite fortunate always to have like the good advices I was getting when I first started trading was to really manage my risk and be cynical about the markets. So, you know, that kind of helped me avoid all that stuff. So I didn't really have like, if I was gonna lose, maybe my worst days could be like something maybe like, you know, 5% as far as I can remember, maybe somewhere around like 5%. Maybe it happened once that I lost maybe 10%. It probably happened already that I lost 10%, but nothing too crazy. Because every time I would take like also a big loss, I would go back, I would put my risk all the way back to say, oh shit, you know, like maybe I have 500 bucks and then I lose like 100 and I have 400 bucks. I'm like, oh damn, you know, I gotta make this thing last over here. I gotta learn the skill, you know. I can't just blow it that quickly, because if I've already done it once, what means I can't do it again? Because I'm not profitable. So you just have to be honest with yourself. You know, it's like I'm a very cautious person. Whenever I approach things in life, and generally speaking, I always take it very cautious, very slow, because I want to move correctly. I don't wanna scam myself. You know, and you learn these things from when you're a kid, man. Like sometimes, you know, when I was selling stuff, man, sometimes I used to get scammed. So like every time like something like that would happen to me, I'd also be like, okay, this is not gonna happen again. And I'll take those life lessons to anything else that I want to learn. You know, so I already had that caution when it came to trading. So, you know, that's it. I think the worst moments was just constantly losing. You know, like constantly waking up, like not having enough sleep, trading the Asia, the pre-London, London, all the way out. The whole day, basically, I would trade the whole freaking day, because I'll be in positions throughout Asia. My phone would go off at like, you know, 2 a.m., 3 a.m. in the morning. I'll get no sleep, get out of bed. You know, my partner's still in bed sleeping. I'm getting out of bed. I'm going on the charts, turning on the monitor. You know, this is like 3 a.m. in the morning. Like, these are like very early hours. You know, this time right here is not correct, by the way. This is just Eastern time. Right now, my actual time is like 11. It's like 11 a.m. in the morning. But like, this was when I was actually trying to grind. You know, like trading that Asia time that early. Those were my worst trading days, because I would never get sleep. And there would always be anxiety being built up on top of your regular day activities. You know, so I'd be losing trade, I'll be in drawdown, I'll be going to work. When I'm in drawdown, I'll be checking my phone at work with all this like stress. You know, it's like a buildup of anxiety. I always say that's the worst part of it. It's like when you're at work and you feel like work is disrupting your trading. You know, it's a very bad headspace, because, you know, if you're at work, you're getting paid to work. Correct? So you feel like, oh man, these people are holding you back, or that it's getting in the way of your trading. So that headspace, I think generally speaking, was like the worst. And a lot of us deal with this, you know, a lot of us deal with this anxiety of trading that it adds in your personal life. That's why it's like always thinking about how can you make trading like as stress-free as possible, you know, and also put the work in. Because for me, I'm a person, if I'm in, I'm in. You know, so it was kind of hard to make that disconnect between like work-life balance. You know, so yeah, I think that's it. That's it. But you got to go through those times. You know, I think everybody goes through those times. It's a normal thing to go through those times. Everybody gets through those times. It doesn't matter if you're a professional NBA player or like, you know, a singer or whatever it is you're doing or trying to do at a high level. Everybody has the same thing. They have to manage the anxiety of what they're trying to perform in and their life balance. You know, we all deal with that. But I think with trading, it's like, it can be very emotional because you're dealing with like money, you know, you're seeing money leave and go immediately. It's not like a regular business where sometimes it takes some time to see it. But man, in trading today, you can lose like 5% just like that. What's your account size? And I see you scalp. I mean, aren't you scared of putting 10 lots and somehow the price goes against you so fast? That's actually never happened to me. That's something that I thought would used to happen as well, but it actually doesn't happen. It's very rare that ever happens. That if, you know, I'm always risking 1 to 2%, 1 to 2% per trade. Correct. So yeah, worst case scenario, I don't know what happens then. Maybe like 5% or maybe like 3%. I don't know, but that never happens. And most of the time when it's happening, it's always happening in my direction. You know, because like, if you think about the way price moves, whenever it's breaking a wick or breaking structure in a certain direction, it's most likely going to be heading in that direction. And that's how I trade. So it's never happened to me like to do the opposite and then to come up like this. Only if you're trading fundamentals, you know, and then again, I trade the pre-London time. There's no fundamentals during pre-London. You know, like there's no macros during like it's really quiet during pre-London. Even this London time that we're on stream, it's also really quiet. We don't have really anything that typically moves the market like that. It's only when you start getting into like, you know, the New York session, you're gonna have all the fundamentals during New York session. The world is awake, and yeah, there's a lot more that happens then. So yeah, I think that's something that you shouldn't really worry too much about. And my stop loss is usually about like, you know, like 16 pips. So it's not as if I have a 5 pip stop loss. You know, I used to do that, but it's, you know, I find with the way the markets have been of late, it's much better to give it that extra room. That's solid. My worst is when I'm in bed knowing I'm down a certain percentage because I didn't follow my rules. But I learned from that, and I had a phase where I would reward myself to get my mind in line. Nice. Yeah, you should always reward yourself. Like if you're patient for the session, you could give yourself like, you know, 2 hours, 3 hours. And if you're patient, you can reward yourself. You know, you can reward yourself. So all you got to do is like just have a time that you're trading. Let's say if it's 3 to 5. You see, if you put it like this, it's much easier for you to conceptualize this and to remain patient. Because from this time to this time, maybe you get like 1 setup. Maybe you get like 1 or 2 setups. You know, because the candlesticks need a setup. Like right now, it's in a setup. This is a potential distribution down towards support. So this would be the only structure you've gotten. So you can see again how it's important to wait. And then maybe this plays out and maybe you can even get 1 more before it finishes the time that you're trading. But just know your strategy in and out, you know, like from, let's say 3 to 5, you know, you have this amount of time for your strategy to give you a signal. Then, you know, it's much easier to remain patient then when you know you're just supposed to be here like this long. But if you don't have this, as I always say, then it becomes a bit hard. Because what's going to happen is you're going to keep thinking it's around the corner, it's around the corner. So you become a slave to the market. And you kind of get stuck in the market because you don't have an end. And now that you've invested so much time, you don't even want to stop trading because you're fearful that you might miss the move. So you just end up being on the charts the whole day at that point. Yeah, I see most volatility on NY session. I guess pre-London doesn't do that. No, it doesn't. Pre-London's like early bird catches the worm. You know, there's nothing that really happens during pre-London. It's pure price action. Maybe if you trade the pound, sometimes we get pound news during the pre-London time. We get some GDP news, I think it is. What's your strategy? TFX concepts. In the beginning of your trading journey, did you ever set pip SL every time in your strategy? Oh, what do you mean set pip SL? I would say the maximum stop loss for some of my entries are like 16.5 pips. And then it's like if you just want a tight stop loss, but it's not necessarily the case. You can also use structure. If there's room for price to move, you can also use structure. Why not? And also depends on the play. You know, for an accumulation like this, you have several options to put stop loss. You can either go with 16.5 if you're trying to like really have a tight one, or you can put it within the range, or you can put it above structure. So you got a few options. You know, and like here, for example, if you see you have enough room, you can put it below the candlestick as a shotgun entry for price to continue moving upwards. But I use 16.5 on this one as well. Even though it's a shotgun, I just use 16.5. So you got options. Yep. Are you trading your own concepts? Yes, sir. I go through that these days. I told my boss to wait before because I was moving to BE. Yo, you're gonna get fired, bro. Well, like in your Ford job when you used to work for Ford, you said? What happened then? No, don't lose your job. Yeah, it's annoying. It's like boss wants something from you and you have to... Man, the worst is that. The worst is exactly that. When you need to get some work done and your trade is in drawdown and you're kind of like looking to manage it somehow. Or like your entry is about to get triggered. You know? And then you're looking at your phone waiting for it to get triggered or something. And the market has a funny way of like making these moments when you have to be doing something else. That's when your setups are coming. But then when you don't have to do anything, it's like consolidating. AMMM. Pass a 5K account on my very first. Tired of blowing 50 USD daily. And that adds up. Why blow 50 USD daily? Just deposit the full amount and then manage your risk. What's your account size? You haven't mentioned yet, or is it a funded account? No, it's my personal account. It's not funded. It's just I got fired from Ford because I refused to take advantage of an old man who wanted his AC gas changed. But I did, but it didn't need changing. Wow. Yeah, you know, people, you know, the thing I've noticed, like life is one big scam. You know why? Because of lack of knowledge. So it's like, you know, the most simplest things, you're getting scammed, you don't even know it. You know what I mean? You go buy pineapple juice in the store, for example, you buy, you know, 500 milliliters or something like that. Man, if you bought a actual pineapple and squeeze the juice yourself, you'll probably get like 5 of those glasses. You know what I mean? Or like the smallest things, like, you know, when you take your car for service, or you got some plumbing being done, or, you know, it's like a lack of knowledge. So if you don't have knowledge, even when buying a car, you can't even bargain. You can't reduce the price. I'll give you this price, but you don't know what to say. You don't know how to bargain because you don't know anything much about cars. You just need a car, you know, so you can't bring the price down. So you're always overpaying for everything. You know, a new iPhone comes out, overpaying. You know, a new something comes out, you're always getting scammed, man. Like life is one. So I don't understand when people say, oh, trading's a scam, or this is a scam. Bro, like everything's a scam. You're getting scammed left, right, and center. You just don't know it. You know, it's all coming down to knowledge. It's like, that's what trading is as well. It's like, if you don't have the knowledge, there's no difference between this and buying a new car, for example, and overpaying for it. You know, you're just operating from a lack of knowledge. So, man, in life, I think due diligence is like the most important thing before rushing into things. Because, you know, when you rush into things, then you end up playing, it's very easy, it's very hard not to play the victim. You know, you're always just going to end up playing the victim. But that's the beautiful thing about life. It gives you that experience. So if it happens to you once, then you already know, you get the knowledge, so it's not going to happen to you again. So you know how to now move correctly. So next time you're doing it, you're going to move correctly. So you see, it's a mindset shift more than anything. A lot of your problems are fixed by changing your mindset and attitude towards things. Yeah, ignorance is bliss. It's easy. Ignorance is bliss, you know. You kind of like take the weight off you, so you don't think about it. Check the videos. Most are in good resolution. Only 2 are not. Oh, nice. Thank you. Yeah, you can send them all on Drive. I think you can share like a Drive link. Man, that's sick. Do you have the one with Dr. Dollar? That's the one that I actually want. The one where Dr. Dollar came onto the stream and we took like some gold cells. That was a fun stream. There's also, oh, you got it? Nice. Dump it. He came onto stream one day and we were just yelling, dump it. And he was like, what the fuck is going on here? There's a massive range. Damn. I don't think gold's gonna go anywhere, chat. It's probably gonna hold this level until something like the New York time. Like, you see, because usually if market ranges during the London session, it's gonna start moving more towards the New York time. So hopefully we don't get a situation like this and then price can just start popping up right now. Unhinged. $33.47 or so. I think it will reach, then drop. 33? That's 33.47. Oh, 33.47. It could be like, if we even start breaking above the Asia highs now, then this will become like an accumulation, manipulation for price to distribute above the higher, the larger time frame accumulation here. So you see it's fractal, right? So you got the bigger one and you got the smaller one right here. Now you probably got some smaller ones there on the 1 minute too. But you know, like having that perspective, I think actually helps you a lot as a trader, is when you can actually see the markets in fractals like that. Because you see, like when you look at price, some of you guys may be just looking at just this, but I'm considering like everything. I'm considering this. I'm considering what could be happening though on the 1 minute time frame. So having that perspective is really good. It kind of helps you. I don't know how to explain it, but it helps you anticipate certain moves a little bit better. Yeah, so let's see actually what's going on. So right now, nothing is going on the 1 minute. Looks like it's just retracing into this area here. Probably getting some orders. Maybe if he wants to keep moving down. What if price sweeps buy liquidity first around 33, 34? What if? You know, there's a lot of what ifs. But I don't know. What if? I don't know. Because, you know, price hasn't even done anything. We can't operate from what ifs. Because now we're going to give ourselves too much of like a bias of what price should be doing. But if it does that, If it does that, then you know, then you're gonna see. Then what can you do next? Because you know the thing is, if price even comes up towards that level by 33.34, or where is this? Wait, 33.34. If it comes down towards 33.34, it's gonna be breaking these lows. Correct? By that time, the daily candle will almost be flipping. So if it does this, I'm going to be waiting for price on the daily to flip. And if it flips, then I'm going to be like, okay, you know, price here is starting to pick a direction. And maybe we can start getting like a daily bias come in. So I'm going to start looking for sells. So I think that's what if. Like if price comes down here, then I'm going to start looking for sells. If it reflips. Then, you know, at that point, we can start to continue to move down. Wick fill this previous wick. And then continue to move down towards support by 32.74. Yeah, I think that's going to be the move. That's going to be the play. Thanks for the 100 guys likes. Appreciate it. 100 likes, guys. Hey, good morning, good morning. Let's see, anything new? Nothing is new. Me? I am not corrupt. Have you seen that video of the Sudanese president when BBC asks him if he's corrupt? He's like the most guilty politician. He's like, me? I am not corrupt. Guys, so politically correct. Is Sudan one of the most corrupt countries of the world? Sudan is not the most corrupt country of the world, but it is part of the world. I stopped thinking what if because I would think of too many possibilities. Yeah, too many variables. You know, like when you're thinking about if you're thinking too much in what ifs, there's way too many variables. You know, it's like when the reporter asked Trump something, she asked Trump something, what if, and then Trump is like, what if anything? What if a bomb drops on your head? You know, there's like anything can happen when it comes to what ifs. So like when you take a sell over here and you got your stop loss up over here and you start thinking like in what ifs, then you also kind of scare yourself out of the trade because you start to see something like this and then you're like, oh man, what if price stops me out? Maybe I should just get out here. So I would say like the market's really good at playing with psychology. So the thing is like, if you want to take a trade, the market will show you a trade. All right. Like if you want to take a trade here, you're going to start seeing things. So I would say like right now your capacity or your brain capacity should be maybe at like, you know, something like 10%. Like you shouldn't be if you already know what you're looking for, you shouldn't be thinking too hard about taking a position. Because if you're operating at, let's say, a capacity of like 70%, giving yourself that same feeling in your brain that like if you're actually seeing the trade or the same, you know, like when you actually see your setup, your capacity goes up because you're ready to execute. But if you're really wanting to take a trade, you're always operating at this level. So your brain starts to play tricks on you. And then that's when you start to take dumb shit trades. You know, you take these trades and then they're not part of your rules. That's because you want to take a trade. But if you just chill here and you know exactly it's not what you're looking for, then that's it. Because you've seen us on stream, guys. Like if we know our trade is there, we take it. We don't even hesitate. Like this was the trade. What time did we take this trade? This is like 5 minutes. We came onto the stream for 5 minutes. We executed already because it was already there and we didn't have to think about it. But if you really got to think about something here, you most likely should not be taking it. It's probably out of your rules. And those are the losing trades. Those are the trades that you lose. So why put yourself in that position? AYA, thank you for the sub. . Hey, we got Victor in the chat. Hey, nice. That's the first time I see another Victor. You'll be Delulu for sure if you're not disciplined. Delulu. Delulu. Oh yeah, this is a life right here. Forex trading in the woods. Out in nature. It's like a throwback to the 2000s. Y'all think you could trade back in like 2010? I mean like 2000, 2005? Yeah, guessing you could have traded on these computers. I remember used to owning some of these computers. We used to own these computers. There's big computers. I don't know like what platforms you could actually get on the charts with. With that, maybe like some Yahoo Finance or something like that. I still have the CRT like that. Oh, nice. Very nostalgic. Could have been, you could have been buying Bitcoin during that time. Yeah, this to me just looks like it's retesting this area over here, guys. This previous accumulation. But you know, life was too good back then to be sitting behind a computer. That's an unfortunate thing. Back in those days, life was too good. You just needed to be outdoors, spending time with your friends or whatnot. Yeah, everything goes back to buying BTC at that time. No. No trade zone means we only trade when the range is broken. Yeah, it means like you could get away with a trade here, no doubt. But this the thing is, there's no bias here. Within this 73 pip zone, you don't really have much of a bias. So what you're mainly seeing is people getting into sells at the highs and looking for buys at the lows. Let's actually see where Bitcoin is going. Last time we saw it had some kind of a retracement. Yeah, massive retracement. Good thing I sold off my Bitcoin on Friday, so that's nice. Big retracement. I want to see price fake out. You know, the way it's acting right now, it looks like it could do a little fakey situation here. Gets back above this range, it re-breaks those highs. Because I'm thinking from like a seller's perspective, people go into sells here, look at this getting a hard time, and then if you start to see price do this and finally break above the highs, maybe we can get the daily start to trend. Yeah, we'll get those buys. After losing so much staying in demo till I get it right. Yeah, I think it's a good thing. But you see, the problem with the demo is you're not trading with real money. So you still don't have like a very good experience when you actually take your trades because it's just demo. So I would say like just still keep trading a live account, but just reduce the risk like a lot. You know, maybe start risking like 0.5% at the most extreme. At the highest, 1%. You know, so you need to have like enough that you're caring about actually showing up to the charts and taking your trades. If it's a demo, maybe you're not going to be as motivated. But something much better about trading with real money. Even if it's 0.5% or even 1%, you know, it's still something. Demo is going to get boring. You're going to get bored of it soon. You're going to get bored and you're going to be like, oh man, you know, it's not as exciting anymore. And you know, sometimes it gets a bit dangerous because then you're going to start taking big risk again once you come with real money. So it's better to just gradually see it on a small account, I would say. Gradually see the progress on a small live account. Because you know it doesn't make a difference. If you're trading like making, let's say $5 trades, it doesn't make a difference because that same $5 trade can be the same profit like $500 or $50,000 or 500,000. You know, obviously 500 is quite unrealistic because most brokers might not pay you out. But you know, like let's say 500, 5,000, 50K, something like that. It's all the same thing. So you're just kind of like tricking your mind already, you know. Trick your mind to thinking that it's worth the time. Because if you're too focused on the $5 itself, then you gotta think like, oh, that's not enough money. You know, that's not enough money. I should increase my risk. But it's not yet time for making profits from the market. It's just time to like actually understand the market. So it's a huge difference when you're trading to actually make profit and you're trading to learn how to trade. What platform you use to buy Bitcoin? Still looking. Oh, I do like peer-to-peer trading. In a sense, sometimes I get paid via Bitcoin, and you know, sometimes just hold the money there and then I sell it off to somebody else. Or like, you know, you can deposit, hold it for some time and then sell it off. Do I trade only pre-London? No. I trade pre-London, London, and pre-New York. Let's flip a coin, guys. Let's see. Choice heads. Heads of gold moves up. Tails of moves down. Coin lands on heads. Okay, so it says gold should move up. What direction is gold spot going to break out of in this London London session consolidation. Get inspired for your next move. Trading ideas. We got the Knight of Currencies. Embrace the celebration of gains as the breakout leans favorably towards the upward ascent. Oh, so we got CoinFlip and Zoli here say gold should move up. Yeah, and I think that's what price is gonna do. Yeah, I also think price should move up. Price could move up. It could actually do both things. I would not be opposed to any direction. Hey Kraken, good morning. That was a wild 5-minute candle though. That pushed up like 48 pips. $48 pips. Chat. Right. Who's your second favorite live stream streamer? You know, who's your second favorite live stream streamer for trading? I know your first is obviously TFX. Who's your second favorite live stream streamer? I just want to know like what communities you guys are coming from. I want to get to know my audience a bit better. Who do you guys watch? Let me see if I know the names. Time to eat. I got one. So where you guys are coming from? Trade Sharp. Trend lines. Trend lines? Who's trend lines? CoinFlip strategy with one trade a day is more profitable than most traders. Yes, that's true. It still got a 70% hit rate there, I think. See where you guys coming from? FX Ghani. I got Lorenzo. I don't watch trading other than these streams. I started from Lorenzo. Okay, nice. Top Step, FX Ghani, Daniel Holmes. Only me. Tory Trades. Okay, 5%ers. See, up down effects. Oh, and Trade with Pat, but so late to watch. Trade with Pat. Yeah, I know Trade with Pat. Trade with Pat. Okay. Yeah, I would say I know most of these people. Raja Banks. TGR Trading. TGR Trades. TGR. Yeah, I love TGR's lifestyle videos. Very nice lifestyle videos. Tanya Trades. Oh yeah, Tanya Trades. Tanya Trades. Yeah, she's like yeah, she's ICT trader. Let's see. Also forex for women. Wix 9. Okay. Nice. Awesome. Yeah, makes sense. Makes sense actually. I used to watch a guy before your stream. The stream is a bit before your time streaming. I stopped watching him since he called the audience who watch him for free monkey. He probably said something like signal monkeys, right? Signal monkey. That's what some of them say. Jeffrey Benson. Oh, Jeffrey Benson, nice. I think, where is he from? Ghana or something. Yeah, I know a lot of these traders. I stream myself trading on Twitch and I'm only my own audience. Awesome. I was also only my own audience when I started trading. We started, I think I had like 5 people used to watch me. I wish I still had those streams. I got like 5 people used to watch me, but you know, like even there's those 5 people, like super motivating. You know, back when you start streaming, there's so much you gotta learn about streaming. So it's good that you start slow. It's not good when you start very quickly because you're gonna drop off very fast. So you kind of build like more experience and then, you know, then you can have more of like a consistent growth. Pokora Trade FX, thank you, I appreciate it. Thank you for the sub. Come on, Goldie, do something. Pop or something, you know. Now we gotta poke gold here with a stick. Move, please. When London moves, it moves so nicely. And the thing is, we don't have any news today, so why is it ranging? Gold futures inch up but remain stuck in a tight range. You see this? You see, this is what I mean. This is exactly what I mean. You're not gonna see price say, oh, gold just hit a fair value gap and is stuck in between an imbalance for the SMT with the Sunday close. It's not going to say none of that. Like most people who understand what markets do, it's always simple foundational concepts because market is just stuck in a range. You see gold futures inch up but remain stuck in a tight range. And you see we're all just waiting here. Like literally look at the psychology of markets right now, what everybody's thinking. We're just stuck in a range. We're all just waiting. So you can imagine like everybody who's looking to trade gold spot right now, they're all just sitting on their hands. Literally, we're all just waiting until like an option comes that we can take a trade. And then, you know, that's when we want to get involved. But 90% of the time, it's just like waiting. Gold futures tick slightly, though trade in narrow range and appear to be firmly in a consolidation phase for the short term. The precious metal is caught between mixed macroeconomic signals and shifting global risk appetite, which makes sense. Short term, the key factors influencing gold's trajectory is the interplay between real yields like the dollar and uncertain monetary policy expectations. Over the medium term, opportunities for gold remain with the US Federal Reserve easing monetary policy and geopolitical risks and persist. Okay, so that's the long term. The medium term is rate cuts and geopolitical risks, and the short term is real yields like the dollar and uncertain monetary policy expectations. So that's what's creating also consolidation, the uncertainty. But however, stubborn inflation remains a key risk in this scenario, which could force the Fed to keep higher interest rates for longer. That's going to be not some good news for Trump. All strategies come back to the basic concepts. Yeah, they should. Gold is more fundamental, less technical. I don't trade TFX concepts, but on psychology, I've never met someone who's your level, Vic. Man, I appreciate it. Manyara, I appreciate it. Let's see, 12 hours until daily closing. Can price on the daily or weekly time frame show us a rejection of a daily OB? Now, why are you trading the daily time frame I think if you gotta choose like, okay, if you're daily time frame, then you're trading something from the 4 hour. You're trading something from the 4 hour, maybe even the 1 hour and above. If you're looking at daily, so maybe like you got some daily. Let's look at the high time frame traders. High time frame traders, what are you guys looking at here? I think it's quite difficult to trade off the higher time frame, especially when price is ranging like this. Like it's kind of hard to catch those higher time frame plays because you're not getting much of a direction in here, as you can see. Loads of wicks. But you'd be, I guess, from anything from 1 hour and above. And once you start getting to the higher time frames, you might as well just start studying up on the fundamentals as well. Because no matter how good the setup is, if you just don't have that fundamental strength, then you can't have those big moves happen. They just won't. It's much easier for price to play within a range like this, you know, even when we don't have any bias in the market, than it is to take a trade off a 4 hour, for example, and then think that it's going to go all the way up over here. Because such a move like requires some sort of consensus in the market to make. It's a pretty big move. It sucks when people are there for buy and sell signals only. Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay. You know, that's why they say majority of people are going to stop trading in 90 days. Like ever since I've been on YouTube, I can tell you like my audience has shifted. You know, we're always getting different people. You know, that's why it's like, you know, in the beginning, I used to get more attached to my audience, which you know, I still try and do. But I just know that in a right amount of time, people usually like shift. You know, they start to strategy hop or mentor hop, or, you know, maybe they just stop trading altogether. So, you know, we've had such a like almost like different phases of audience. Because I think I pretty much know everybody who tunes into the stream, because as you can see, I read all my comments. So I kind of like know everybody who comes onto the stream. But that's the reality of trading though. You know, when I used to be part of communities as well, like people used to stop trading too. You know, that's just the way it is. It's just the way it goes. Can't do much about that, to be honest. But there's a bunch of people out there who are really learning and trying to learn how to trade. Like you can imagine some of these channels have like 2 million subscribers. Only got like 30K. So there's so many traders out there. And the thing is, like, they don't even know this channel exists, for example, because, you know, the algorithm only feeds you what you watch. So a lot of the times, like, people are more stuck in the lifestyle section of the algorithm as well, and they don't have the option to even find like proper education. So it's much easier to follow somebody with a car and say, oh, I want that lifestyle, you know, than it is to follow somebody who's actually teaching you how to get that lifestyle. I missed the architect. Haven't heard from him. Oh yeah, I haven't heard from him in a while. And I guess people also just have life catches up and that sort of thing. Yeah, it's a reality. I'm a realist. Like, you know, my mental model towards life, I'm a realist. So I try and see things for what they are. I don't like beating around the bush much. Longevity is your edge. Yes, sir. Higher time frames usually respect fundamentals. That's true. I'm just waiting to see if these guys are going to get faked out. They got some potential sellers over here because, you know, for them, they're selling at the top of the range and price not moving anywhere. But you see, like, it's struggling. It's not yet fully broken this area, but you can see how it's flirting with the idea to fake them out. Look at how close that it came to breaking these highs. It broke it only by 0.7 pips. It's flirting with the idea to like fully take them out. So it just needs to skyrocket like this. That's what I would actually expect in a situation like this where price is struggling a lot. That next time we come up here, we're just going to spike up a bit more. And then kind of catch these guys here in some drawdown. Because trading is a game between buyers and sellers, correct? So you're going to see like, oh, where your sellers currently in the market. And there's like some kind of like a sell idea here at the top of the range. And not only that, but if you zoom out, you've been seeing for the most part, price on gold has been selling off. You know, even yesterday's PA was pretty bearish. pretty bearish on yesterday's PA. After the retracement upwards, we saw moving down. But the daily closed like a doji. But this was the most recent PA from the London to New York and market close. So, you know, the seller's definitely in here, potentially anticipating a continuation from this PA from yesterday. That's kind of what I'm expecting for my London session trade today, is what I wanted to see, was for the sellers to fast, like, show to me that they're actually in the market and they can push price down. And once we start to flip on the daily, then I'll be looking for my entry models, maybe even on the 1 minute time frame, because I don't think we'll be able to get on a 5 minute entry unless we first flip and then retrace to come down. So I'd have to go on a 1 minute chart to catch the sell continuations. Because, you know, at that point, then volume should actually be in the market. But you can see right now, it hasn't yet proven to us any sort of bias. Yeah, nothing compares to wicks and dips, no whips, straight pips. Appreciate it. Nice break and retest happening on GJ right now with TP around 90, waiting on the hourly to pull the trigger. Let's see. Oh, you say waiting for hourly, pull the trigger. Nice break and retest on GJ. I guess you're looking at it from here. Daily's up 0.01. So the daily is basically a doji. But it's just about flipping. You're right underneath that 200 level. I imagine that's what the break and retest you're looking at here is from, like something like the 30 minute. And then you're waiting for the hourly because we're about to get hourly close. Okay. Got some nice little SMAs in there too. Godspeed, Godspeed. At least you have the SMA confluence. Just at a resistance. If price can at least get through that resistance, you know, at least a higher time frame would have some room to move up. Maybe spike above that 200 level again. Because 200 has been like a magnet for the most part. Like this thing, 200, it's like the market's attracted to 200. You know, we keep retesting it so many times. Look at this from the past over here. So it is trying to break. Tested it so many times. You know what they say? When they test it so many times, the level should get weaker the more times that it's been tested. Okay, it looks like the sellers were not yet, or the buyers were not yet able to fake them out. So it still did like a small, tiny little break. You know, they say the devil is in the details. So look at how small this break is. This is a 0.7 pip break. Such a small, tiny break. You know, but still like within this area here. We're gonna see if it distributes down. Because now break and retest actually looks a lot cleaner. You see that break and retest you're talking about on GJ? I think something like that even looks a lot more cleaner. If we're just talking about the structure of a break and retest. Price moves down, retest, rejects wicks a few times, and then to continue pushing down. So yeah, that looks a bit more clear. But I think I see what you are trying to do here. GJ. Weekly moving sideways, waiting for Powell's speech on Freaky Friday. Powell's speech on Freaky Friday. I think isn't Powell's speech tomorrow though? That's when he's gonna be coming on. 2 p.m. And then what's happening on Friday? Oh, Powell's speaking on Friday as well. Okay. So we have the meeting minutes. Let me actually... Today's Tuesday. Tomorrow we have FOMC meeting minutes. Okay, yeah. And then Powell is speaking on Friday for Freaky Friday. At the Jackson Hole Symposium. All day. It's an all-day event. Oh my days. Look at this. We got red folder here. High impact expected. All day event. What is this? This is something we really gotta look at. Because this basically we can expect a situation like this to happen then. You know, like an all-day event of consolidating like this prior to Powell actually speaking. We're gonna see something like that. Damn, this is looking like a hard week. It's Tuesday, and Tuesday is again consolidating like Monday was here. It looks like it's gearing up to be quite a difficult week, like trading the trenches. So you want to move with caution this week. Because of everything, you know, everything we're expecting ahead. Oh man, is this gonna be the reversal confluence? I just want to see price pick a direction already. If we're gonna break above 33.41 or not. But you see, there's a problem. There's a problem trading with no direction, no bias, no volume. Is that you take a sell, price consolidates, and then it buys. And then after it buys, let's say it breaks these highs, it buys, and then it doesn't have so much of a move, and then it sells. So it's kind of like hard to catch a trade. Nice. A week I can do full-time trading is a difficult week. I wouldn't have it any other way by choice. Yeah, I mean, like now you see the problem is here is like you just have to wait longer. The problem with a difficult week as well is like the best options you can give yourself is usually not to take a trade. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just not to take a trade. That's also an option. It's not always about stress testing your strategy. You know, a lot of the time you might think you're just stress testing it, but there's also an option not to trade. Don't forget about that, you know. That also what helps your P&L stay up. So you don't gotta stress test it on the most difficult weeks. But it's flirting with the idea to fake these sellers out. I can see it. Because the reason I know this is because I've been in these trades before. This is not my first rodeo. So I'm thinking about like what I'm doing whenever I'm in a trade like this. Usually where it struggles to move down, I'm usually already adjusting my stop loss here. So because I know if it breaks above these highs, then price is just gonna possibly come up towards that resistance point where these other stop losses are. It's like a consolidation reversal. Because, you know, in a situation like this, man, you're just praying that price goes in your favor. Because it's already giving you a hard time. Okay, you already got a hard time here. So most of the time, these trades are losing trades. So you got to manage your risk on these trades. You see these trades, these are winning trades. When it doesn't give you a hard time. They stay winning trades. And then this, you just got to manage your risk and not mismanage. Because another thing that people do is they mismanage their trades a lot because of the fluctuations. You know, like look at how many times it's come up here towards these highs. You got like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times it's come up towards these highs. No real strong breaks of the highs. It's just like playing with psychology. You know, it's just like testing you. Like some people close positions, they re-add positions, you know, and that whole thing messes it up and you end up paying more money for that. You get a lot of mismanagement in there. So those are the things which are usually happening. My GJ long has been triggered. Now just let's see price does its thing. All right, Mark. Let's see. You got new hourly candlestick is opened up over here. I see it's still maybe that break and retest. Well, you see now the views are coming up. Look, now we're gonna hit 300 live viewers because they've seen a position on. How do they do it? You guys who do this, if you just joined the stream right now because of this, how do you do it? What do you do? What it is that you do? How do you watch without actually watching? And how do you know when there's a position? Tell me your secret. You just hover on the video, on the thumbnail. Hover on the thumbnail and watch it like that. There's a guy sending links. Hey, that would actually be a funny like underbelly to the signal junkies. Sending links like notifications when... Hey, that's not a bad business idea, actually. Little notification thing. They have alerts turned on like TradingView. But you know, with AI, so many things are possible now. So many things can be done. Like, you know, a lot of good businesses are built like off a problem, and then you can write your own. If you're good at coding and you can write your own code, it's so much easier now, especially with AI. You can write your own code. Like, I've already written I'm not even much of a coder, but I've already done some coding on, I think it's GitHub. I made it a while ago, but some of my templates on Notion use like specific code that I made myself to help organize myself better. Like, it's like giving myself a solution for something that I wanted, but was not available. So you just make your own code via ChatGPT, and then you can host it on, I think you host it on a server like on GitHub or something like that. You should use ChatGPT. It's very, very easy. Yeah, it's very easy. You can do so much with ChatGPT. It's a lot. So, man, even starting a business nowadays, it can be so good for you with ChatGPT. If you own a business and you need some kind of solution for your business, you don't have to hire a coder. You can just do it, and through ChatGPT, you can figure something out. If you start with 1,000 USD, how much lot size would you use and then scale up? If I start with 1,000 USD and I wanted to really compound it, I'll trade like, you know, 10% per trade. Maybe like something like 10% per trade. It's pretty high risk, you know? And then just try and compound it as well somehow with like side hustle or something, you know? But 10% I think is a really good like maximum. That's complete maximum risk, because remember, you only have like 10 losses, possibly even less than that, you know, to blow the account. That's if you're really trying to push it. If you're trying to be a bit more safe, you can do like 5%. I think 5% should give you what, about like 25 trades? 25 trades, something like that. So this would be kind of like the more sweet spot, 5%. And then just kind of look at your cluster of winning and losing trades, and don't change this percent. You know, a lot of the time people, when they try and compound, they do 5% and then maybe lose like 3 times in a row, and then reduce the risk again back to like something like maybe 2.5. You know, if you always increasing your lot size, you're never going back. That's an important thing. So you're accepting the additional risk. And you should only increase lot size when you see performance, not when you see like, you know, markets are being hard and that sort of thing. Only when you see some kind of performance. Because these results reflect, you know, they can really reflect what the market is doing as well. Like if it's consolidating, you're going to have a lot of these like losses come in. But if it's trending, you might have a lot of the wins come in. You know, provided that you have a good strategy. That you're following with the market somehow. You're in tune with the market. So you see for August, for example, a lot of consolidation that's been going on, a lot of uncertainty. So I've started with a lot of like these back-to-back, like loss, win, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss, you know? And then now it's starting to open up a little bit more. It's still consolidating, but for the times that I'm trading, it's starting to open up a bit more. Just finished watching Bad Guys 2. I'll give it an 8.1. Bad Guys 2. Bad Boys? Oh, it's a cartoon. Okay. Last thing I watched was a Superman movie. I'll give it probably like a 7. I kind of get why they make movies like that now. I kind of understand this whole agenda to like switching up things, you know, making them kind of more colorful for the new generation, and you know, the whole agenda that is currently going on. It's because I don't think the people who actually care about the movies and the franchises are driving enough of the capital gains that these companies are looking to make. At the end of the day, you know, it's a business. When they make a movie like Mission Impossible, like still gotta watch that one. It's like a business. It's all about like how much money is it driving, you know, and the diehard fans, I guess they're just not enough of them to drive that capital. So they stick to these kind of like cookie cutter methods, you know, cookie cutter methods of how the animations and how everything looks so clean and so different nowadays. Yeah, it's so sad. But Superman was alright. You're too generous, man. I watched the Superman yesterday. I was disappointed. Yeah, I went in it with like an open mindset, you know. I try to like it because it's not changing anytime soon. I think I've kind of accepted Hollywood is just gonna keep doing this. They're gonna do this to every single movie that is gonna be coming out now, and also video games. And you can't do anything about it. Yeah, I give it like 7. Fantastic Four was good though. You know what's a good superhero movie? You only know this. It's a real throwback. I don't know if you'll even remember this movie, but it's called Sky High. Y'all remember Sky High? That's a nice superhero movie, but it's a throwback. Fantastic Four was good though. I haven't watched it yet. Yeah, and they did the same thing with Fantastic Four. Like they completely, it's like they smooth out the edges. You know, that's the only way I can explain what Hollywood is doing. It's like they're smoothing out edges on things. Like, look at this guy. Why does the thing look like this, man? What is this? This doesn't even look like... I mean, this was this was the OG Fantastic Four. And then this is the new one. You see the difference? Like, it's just different. It's like for kids, you know? That's the thing. That's what's selling nowadays. These like smooth edges, and they just mess it all up. Yeah, but this was Sky High. But this was like a throwback. This is a really old movie over here. Can't wait till the next Quentin Tarantino comes and brings in more original shit. That's one guy I don't think who's gonna sell his soul to Hollywood. Quentin Tarantino. Because his style of movies and directing is like very specific. You know, I don't think it would work any other way. Damn, goals moving slow? Yes, sir. It's like, it's flirting with the idea of faking out these sellers. I would not be surprised. You know, we already had a candlestick move up here like 48 pips, I think. And I would not be surprised to see if any even other candlestick comes and pops up like that. Because you see, it respected these highs quite a bit of times, but it's still like moving really slow. And whenever the market moves slow, I always get nervous about those trades because those are usually my losing trades. So I'm just thinking about some sellers in here. Yeah, no banger after banger now. That's true. Man, remember like the 2000s? The 2000s would get like bangers after bangers. Like even if you look at the VMA Awards, would get like some really iconic songs back to back. Like you would have like Eminem, Slim Shady back to back with the Backstreet Boys. Like some really, really good songs that you even wonder how to give the awards out because everything is so good. But nowadays, don't know. Sound like a boomer. I probably sound like a boomer. Nowadays, we just don't get it the same. And the jokes were so much edgier and stuff like that. You know, you could get away with a lot of stuff. Comic versions are wide. It's what the core fans of Marvel and DC were waiting for. Yeah, maybe I was a bit generous on the Superman, guys. I should have probably said like 6.5. 6.5. I think I enjoyed it because I had nothing else to watch. If you... Alright, let's see. Comments. Da-na-na-na. Pump it up. Gotta pump it up. Got to pump it up. Come on, gold. You just give the sellers a whip already. We know you want to do it. This is what gold does before it does the opposite of where price was going in the previously. So it's not even a setup perspective, but you can just see is like the opposite of what price was doing previously. Because if price moved down, most likely people were in sells over here. It looks like it wants to whip them. Just get it over with, gold. Put them out of their misery. These are the worst trades, chat. Like literally being in this trades, especially when you're still in it and it's just struggling to put you into profits. You know, like this, eventually it just comes up. Like there's always a higher probability that it just gets stopped. Boom, a bit of profit, and then this. Tricks you a bit, puts you in a little bit of profit, and then starts to pull back against you again. What do you think of the sells on the 1 minute break of the lows then? Oh, what do you mean? Like here? Let me see 1 minute. Here. Oh, rebreak of the lows? I don't know. I wouldn't touch it, to be honest. Not during this time. You can see why we've been very cautious during these London times. Because of trying to avoid certain things like this happening. Because even if you look from the pre-London time, over here, we had no consolidations or anything like that. Like price was just moving. It was a bit more like free-flowing. As opposed to what we're getting now. Oh, Ballerina was good. Sinners was also really good. So those are the proper bangers this year. Oh, yes. I agree with that. Those two movies were really nice. But you know what? It seems like that's set up for the simulation that we did again. Like how price came down like this, and then, you know, it started to consolidate and break the highs. Although this range is not the best range. This range here, you have a range of about, let's see, you got about like 13, 14 pips. I know, concept remains the same. Now we're just going to wait and see if price actually mirrors this PA here on the left-hand side. Can you see how it's mirroring like here? So you can think about this mirror from this angle and this angle, horizontal and vertical. So that's what we're now waiting to see if it actually pops up for the vertical mirror here. We're on our way. Wait, have you seen Dune Prophecy? Dune Prophecy. I don't think I've seen Dune Prophecy. I like the one with Zendaya though. I think that was the most recent one. Views gone back up. Let's see. NQ ripping. Zendaya. Yeah, NQ is daily right now. What is the daily doing? Daily is like a doji candlestick. It just needs to reflip, re-break its highs. But yeah, I mean, like NQ is moving up. NQ just moves bullish for the most part. But this is when the stock market was dumped over here, creating really nice opportunities for people to get invested into NQ. Stock market dumped, and then, you know, something like this is always going to move up, you know, predominantly. So that created a beautiful opportunity for people to get invested for the long term. Yeah, you'd want to be looking for buys predominantly here. Let's see here on the 4-hour time frame. You see the PA and the psychologies it's kind of different. Although markets move in 3 directions, bearish, sideways, and bullish, you can already tell the psychology is kind of different. Like you kind of, if you've been trading something for a long time, you definitely get the feeling of like this a foreign land over here. This does not look very inviting, to be honest. This looks like I'm walking into some kind of trap. Because look at this garbage here. Lots of pullbacks. Maybe you can get away with some trades every now and then, like very clean ranges. You can see like support over here. Cleaned up the range down towards this next area. A little bit of a swing entry model over there. Maybe even a 1-minute consolidation play. So it's just about getting used to it, used to the instrument, and seeing how it moves. You see it moves very weird. So you have to get used to like, why does it move like this? When does it move like this? You know, what makes it move like that? Those are small little nuances to understanding a pair that you need to understand. You see, like, look at this. Oh, price moves like this and then like starts to wick about like so violently. Like, why does NQ do that? You have to understand the nature of this thing. Why does it move so violently like this? Got a beautiful like little head and shoulders here. Inverted left shoulder, head, right shoulder. Little consolidation break to fill this range on the left hand side. You see markets just move the same way, but depending on the instrument, you got a small little psychology difference over there. So NQ just looks like something that if it starts pulling against you, it could be a violent push against you. You know, whereas something like gold, if you know gold, you don't really expect such things like that to be happening. And look at these wicks. Look at the size of these wicks taking out lows, for example. That's why I love gold. Like gold is so, it's like stable. It has volume and it can give you beautiful direction with some really beautiful confluence as well. Like, I mean, look at this little liquidity grab before the run and then beautiful SMAs as well. But it's somewhat stable. It's stable and it has that volume. And it's easy to read. It's much easier to read too. Like we understand why this is happening. So that's fine. It's a lot easier to read. But currently on NQ, what I'm seeing right now is that price. Okay, we're breaking out 15-minute resistance. Let's see the 5-minute. Oh, we don't have any clean ranges on the 5-minute. Maybe below the support area over here. Got about, I think, what's that, like 60, 62 pips. I don't see how to get buys maybe on the 1-minute time frame off an accumulation break. Looks like it might be in one. Probably need to change the broker because the candlesticks are not lining up nicely. But this could have potentially been one. Price shot above, retrace back into the range, getting more orders to continue moving upwards on the 1-minute. And Q. You place a long or short thing, it attracts the Gulag viewers. Yes. Almost got German 40, so close. Oh. The silent killer here. Oh, I can't find any setups. Yeah, if you can't find anything, just stay out of the market. That's your trade. Your trade is not to trade. That's a trade for the day then. No trade day. You just watch, man. The gold is trying to fake these guys out. That's what I feel. Hey, FX Brainiac, good morning, good morning. Look at this, Goldie. Just take them out already. Put them out the misery. Just needs a break above 33.39. Because now, at least if we can get them out, we can rotate. You know, we can start looking for a new PA. Rather than paying out this old entry, then we can maybe start a new sort of price action. Because if it pays out these entries, it might as well go to the daily flip by 33.32. Get like a proper distribution out of it, because you know you've had two situations here where price accumulated. So if it re-breaks these lows, we might as well push a little bit more significantly past these lows. But if we fake them out, that means price might start trickling more towards the upside, because it's already retested the highs and it hasn't really fully tested the lows. At least in my opinion, I still think there's a lot more room for it to come and retest these lows. So if it does this, that means like it's more trickling towards the upside. Then we finally start to break above this area. My psychology is either I'm going to take a loss or break even. Okay. You got a bull flag, it's coming soon. Yeah, I mean, like, that's the thing, it's coming soon, right? It's really building something up over here to have a move soon. Prabhu, thank you for the sub. Good PA is gonna come at Asia or maybe NY. Asia SS or maybe NY. And just does something like this. Exactly like what we've been seeing of late. This is where you want to avoid. Because you know what happens is you're going to look back at your day and you're going to be like, damn, if I only waited. You know, if I only waited, then I would have had a better chance of catching a good trade. When I finally saw some direction, when I finally saw some wicks getting broken, maybe I would have had a good trade. You know, but instead I was an impatient trader and I wanted to trade this range. That's what's going to happen to you if you force any sort of like entries in this zone. That's how you're going to feel later. Because, you know, maybe you're going to get like situation like yesterday where as soon as we start to break lows, lining up with that New York session open, or whenever it breaks, then it just keeps moving in that direction. And if you look back in hindsight, all you got to do is like hit sell. Even because, you know, sometimes, as I say, it's like you're just kind of getting on the right side of the market. Because it's either going to move up or it's either going to move down. I'm feeling something big soon. Yes, it could be even coming somewhere here. But that's still within the range, so... You know, you could get away with it, but I'm going to stay out of it. Every time I take a trade on stream, especially during when... Now, every time I take a trade on stream when the daily is not trending, it's a losing trade. It's always a higher probability of a losing trade. That's what this sell swing here was. You know, we got tired of waiting. You know, we thought, oh, we had all these confluences, fake out on the hourly, The daily was not trending, so it ended up being a loss. So I reduced it from 1% to 0.40%. Every single time. That's how the London session's been. So being very cautious here. Because, you know, the thing is like... The London psychology is supposed to be a continuation. From the way I understand markets, pre-London sets it up for the London session to continue. Even if it's a small continuation on the London Open. Because you see, this is London Open, right? This is usually when we're coming onto stream here, 3 AM Eastern. Right? When the London opens, it's meant to set up for the London Open. So even if it doesn't want to trade for the whole of London, then at least we can get the first hour, a candlestick give us like some kind of an entry. You know, following through from some sort of bias from the pre-London. But as you can see for the pre-London, I thought we could already start having a bullish bias here. We took a buy, you know, secured some profits, and then price consolidated. Broke into the range and then had this kind of abrupt move, which, you know, you couldn't have really caught this move here. Kind of like, it's not as clear to catch this move. So you see, it's already been set up. The pre-London time has already set us up for some kind of a consolidation. And you're going to see, man, like tomorrow, maybe tomorrow is going to be a bit different. You know, tomorrow, maybe we're going to see something a bit more like this. More open spaces and more trending towards the upside. Then you'll see it's a lot more straightforward to actually trade. So I don't know what it is. I think it's just this week because we got Powell speaking on Freaky Friday now. And, you know, we had these previous talks between Trump and the European leaders and price has just been ranging like this. So I have not yet taken a pre-NY trade though this week. Might take one today, but it depends if price actually moves. Xauusd, that I wish I knew that what destroys many traders. Yes. It's that feeling of regret. So you start regretting that you waste a bullet. Because every day, you know the thing about being disciplined is it's very difficult because if you're giving yourself 2 bullets, 2 trades a day, what happens if you mismanage a trade, you're gonna have to wait another 24 hours until you can take another trade. You know, it's that waiting period that's the hardest, especially when you mess up and you waste like even a bullet. You know, but that's what you need to do. When you're developing patience, you need to be okay with waiting that 24-hour period after taking, you know, like 1 or 2 trades a day. That's the hardest part though for beginners. Because you feel like you need to get rich quick. You feel like you're wasting time. You feel like people are trading and making money and you're missing out. That's the hardest part about actually building consistency. Because you're comparing your day 1 or whatever you are in your journey to somebody else who is already profitable. So you feel like, you know, you're always missing out on things, on trades. But the market's full of trades. Don't worry, the market's abundant of trades. Trust me, majority people trading here, these people are going to be having a hard time. So you're better off just sitting out. There's no one here having a good time trading. And you know, once you realize this, it doesn't matter for you if you see somebody even maybe catch a profitable trade within this range, because you already know that was a risky place to trade to start with, because there was no movement, no real direction or general consensus. So you have to be very objective about the markets. Don't be too subjective. You're too subjective, you compare somebody's trade in here, you had a profitable trade, so you want to try and replicate one yourself when you know it's not the best conditions. Just be objective about the market. Trust me, nobody here as a whole is making real money. This is a really very difficult place to actually make money for majority people. So you're not missing out on anything. Most people, maybe it's a different story when price is moving down like this. You know, then for most people, they're getting distribution. So they're getting payouts. Payouts from their entries. Then you can feel FOMO. Then you can look back at this and say, oh, damn, I missed the move. But as long as we're inside this range, nothing too substantial here. Even though it's like a, you know, a 70, 76 pip range. What's your routine when you first hop onto your charts for the day, Vic? Do you have a system to find exactly the trend for the day? I'm not really entirely looking for a trend when I first hop on, but what you're gonna do is like look at the daily time frame, and if it's hovering around like 0.30%, 0.20%, you already know it's not trending. So you gotta think about this and say, okay, so if we're not trending and I'm trading, let's say the London session, what's the smartest thing to do based off of previous data? Most likely just wait, because you know you're gonna start, the trend might come later on. This is the exact thing that I wish that I didn't do, but I got impatient with this entry over here. Because this trade, I was like, okay, you know, like it looks really good right now, but as candlesticks were developing, that's why we managed our risk. It was not looking good anymore. Correct? But if you just waited, the daily candle actually ended up trending after this, and we could have caught a nice buy. You know, the thing is, the market always gets you at the last minute. It's gonna move and it's gonna show you your entry, and it's gonna like trap the traders at the last minute before it does what you wanted to do. You know, so that's one thing I wish. So you gotta look at the time that you're trading. and just be patient. If you're waiting for a trend, then perfect. Wait for the trend, wait for price to come up above like 0.40%. You know, then that's awesome. That's going to show you some sort of direction here for London. But if I'm trading like, let's say the pre-London time, as I said before, that's when the trends usually are building up from. So I don't need the daily to be trending because we're getting like the earlier trades anyway. It's like the Asia session as well. You know, you don't sometimes need the Asia session to be trending because it's setting up for the day. It's setting up for the pre-London. It's setting up for the London. Because by the time you're coming into London, if the daily is trending, the daily will already be up like 0.40, 50% plus. You know, so you also got to understand like the different session if you need it to trend or not. And that's how I usually do it. So when I come onto the charts for pre-London, I just trade my system. I just look and see, okay, where the clean range is, where is it easier for price to head. So for this morning's trade, for example, I just came onto the charts and I saw like clean range on the 5-minute time frame. And then that was it. That was it. Then I saw candlestick was moving up. It closed above resistance. Then I took my buy over here. Because this is the time I'm meant to be taking trades anyway. So I just took my buy and then I just gave it a shot. So not too much crazy analysis going on here, you know. I saw we got inverted head and shoulders right here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder. We had our SMA confluence, candlestick closed above resistance, clean range, and that was it. Like the trade literally comes to you. You're not chasing it. So those are the best setups. It's like you see it, it's clean, it's clear. You know, you're trading with the daily, like in a sense, the Asia session. Even though it's not that much trendy, at least you can see some kind of volume towards the upside. So you're expecting some kind of buying pressure to come in. So those are the trades, like you just gotta, like if they find you, those are the best trades. Just let them find you like this. I mean, I did a whole video also on my channel here from start to finish of how my trading day looks like or how it can look like. So go on the YouTube and then go watch this one here. It says live day trading, expert level scalping, fluid psychology. So this video, I made sure that when I just got on, you know, I had lunch, I came back, I just pressed start recording. So that's what this video is. So you can see how I've come from doing like an outer analysis, like looking at the overall PA. Remember, this is the same thing I'm speaking about right now, is how price is having a hard time. This is the exact same thing that I'm speaking about right now and is how I caught this trade. You know, so I saw like price was having a hard time because you got sellers in the market. I was thinking, okay, you know, the sellers are probably trapped over here. So now I'm waiting for my entry confirmations because I see a potential buy above resistance over here if I can get a setup. And I see potential sells below this support area right over here with clean range. Correct? And it's kind of like a similar thing that was happening even on gold right now. You see how it's consolidating here? You got the sellers in and they're trapped. You see this? Sellers in and they're trapped. It's the same thing that I was speaking about in this video. So it's the same concepts, but you see the market doesn't print it like a 1-for-1. It's always like a little bit different. So watch this video here. Live day trading, expert level scalping. You see, because now my bias even started with sells. I was thinking, oh, maybe I'm going to catch a sell. Then I was thinking, oh, maybe I'm going to catch a buy. Maybe, you know, a buy above here would be good. And then as price is developing and you're seeing it all from start to finish, of course, I caught a little bit of spaces in between because there's no point just listening to nothing. But I caught a little bit of spaces. Then you see as it's setting up more and more, you're kind of zooming into what price is currently doing. Seeing if there's going to be any liquidity grabs and that sort of thing. And then you're like, okay, so now I see how price is developing. Then boom, you take your trade. Simple. And that's just my way of trading. This TFX concepts. You see this? And then I got the spike that I was actually looking for these sellers to get taken out. I don't think this was a bomber cloud trade though. I think it's shortly after this, after hitting profits over here, that it reversed. Yeah, okay, pushed up a bit more and then it started to come down again. That was this trade. I'm gonna send you guys a link. See what I mean? Look what's going on right now. Look what's going on. You watch this video here. You'll see me. It's almost the same thing. That's what's happening now. You're going to watch this video. It's the same thing I was expecting that to happen right here. You know, because the market's repetitive. If you're a losing trader, you're going to keep becoming losing trader. You're going to lose. If you're a winning trader, you're going to win. Winners win. Let's see now. Because, you know, for me, what happened was on that trade, it did give me what I wanted. As I mentioned, it pushed up. It gave me my profits and then, you know, pushed up a bit more and then it started coming down later. But it still gave me exactly what I wanted to based off of what I was thinking the market was doing to the previous sellers. And that's why I said, like, usually these trades that I'm in, when I see give me a hard time like this, I already know it's a losing trade. So I can take advantage of that. Because I know the sellers here have probably been taken out even. That's why we had that reaction. You saw that little spike down here when price spiked above this area. It probably took out some stop losses. Let me see how big this spike was. Yeah, about like almost 2 pips. It probably took out some stop losses already. Some managed risk positions. Man, it's beautiful, guys. It's beautiful. Once you lock in onto a concept and you fully understand it in and out, give me like 3 months. Give me 3 months. Just properly lock in. And some of these concepts are going to start hitting home a bit more. Because it's the same thing, you know. Just don't overcomplicate the trading and the system. And you're going to see it a lot better. But if you're too zoomed in and you're really forcing yourself to see it, sometimes you kind of miss out on it. My runners just got stopped in profits. Dance hall with me, chat. Oh, nice. Very good. Trading requires energy. You're in the 50% of the range, no man's zone. It can go either way. Yes. Yeah, it can go either way. You see, there's different levels, man. There's different levels to psychology of trading. And I love the way we do it on this channel, guys. To be honest with you, I've watched these other live streamers. They don't do it like we do. That's 100%. I have studied these other guys. They have great systems, but they don't have that. It's like, I don't know, man. But like, I think it's not as dynamic. It's not as fluid. It's not as clean cut. But you know, my system is it's very easy to understand. It's very easy because it's the same thing over and over again. Like, you just have to lock into the concepts and they work so beautifully, guys. Like, and we go in depth, we go in dimensions with this, you know, we go into like thinking about the other traders and how we can take advantage of their plays to make our trades better, you know. So I think there's a lot of like amazing confluence that we use, guys, like really good stuff. Like, because, you know, if you come on the stream for the first time and you hear me say head and shoulders, you probably think it's a joke because, you know, obviously head and shoulders is like maybe a similar thing as saying cup and handle, but out of context, it sounds like a joke. Only out of context, it sounds like, oh, you're just trading patterns, but that's not the case. It's always like when you're taking a trade, you're taking it in line with your playbook entries and the confluences and the overall context of what the market is doing. You know, and then I think like once you understand that part of it, a lot of what you've already learned, you can also reuse into the market as confluence. You know, so for me, it was head and shoulders, liquidity grabs, SMAs, and then some other psychological things like we mentioned here, reversal patterns, understanding where the other players are, and then taking advantage of such things. For you, it might be trend lines, FVG, maybe point of control. Somehow you just gotta find a way to make it work. But you see, now that's not TFX concepts, that's something else. But the journey can look similar like that. Whatever it is that you end up trading can have a similar mold. You really talk and analyze the trade like a champ. Thank you. Trading a small account, taking 1 to 2 trades a day will test your patience to the core. Yes, that small account will test your patience because it's not going to ever feel like enough money. But that's not the idea of the small account. The idea is just to get you to taking good trades. Let's see, because head and shoulders, yeah, the head is a fake out, HH. So it's a HH into LL into LH. Into breakout. It's kind of a, yeah, kind of confused me there, but that's true. The head is a fake out. The head is usually a fake out, but even within the fake out, there can be a fake out, you know, because like, look at this, the head, you can get like candlestick bodies as a fake out, but at the same time, you can get wicks as a fake out. So you look at this little liquidity grab situation here. So it's a wick, but if you went in thinking about markets and fractals, that's going to be like candlestick bodies. But because you're on a higher time frame, it's a wick. Also, this maybe can become a wick on a higher time frame. This head and shoulders that happened over here. So you see, and then it's also understanding like the fractals of the market, understanding these types of concepts can, better help you just get good trades as a whole and help you know exactly what it is that you're doing. Because you wouldn't necessarily need to see wicks down here. Because you're thinking in fractals, you already know that's a higher time frame. You already know that's higher time frame wicks happening. For you, it's bodies on the 5 minute, but if you go on a higher time frame, you already know it's wicks. So such small things like this, like I think with experience, you really see the market a bit differently. Because we're all looking at the same charts, correct? But as a new trader, you're probably looking at just the candlesticks, whereas I'm looking at all my confluences and I'm looking at all the things that could be happening on the higher time frame and the lower time frame. Because the 1 minute candlesticks here, they operate as well, like consolidate and then have the breakouts. Like on the 1 minute right now, you see consolidation. And I could already sense this by the wicks, the way the wicks are forming here and how volume is slowing down. So when wicks are forming and volume is slowing down, that's already giving you a feeling like, oh man, if I go on the 1 minute, this is most likely a consolidation. And then you're going to see a consolidation. You see what I mean, guys? Like you got to get to this level of reading PA where you're going to think about, and it all comes down to the confluences you study. So if you're with TFX concepts, you're going to see the red card. If you're not with TFX concepts, you're not going to see the red card. You know what I mean? So if someone tells you think about red cards, you're going to see red cards. If you're not thinking about red cards, you're not going to see red cards. You're going to see green cards. If you're thinking about FVGs, those are green cards. You're going to see green cards, not red cards. So it's like you got to like focus on one thing at least. Cuz you got to build that capacity first. But if you're here and you're there, you're nowhere. You're neither here or there. Because you're learning from this guy, and you're learning from this guy, and you're learning from this guy. So you're neither here or there. So it's very difficult to really lock in because each concept is slightly different. So you'll be missing the ball sometimes. Yeah, guys. But it looks like, unfortunately, this was a ranging session for us. And maybe now price can move up as we're heading up towards pre-New York in the next 7 minutes. And then price can distribute from this area here, take out these previous sellers, maybe break above 33.41 and get some kind of trending PA. I think that would be the best thing to see, guys. But yeah, I think I'm gonna head out here. It looks like we didn't get any sort of like clear-cut moves, so I'm gonna call it London session and move over to the next thing. So I appreciate y'all tuning in and take care, everybody. Adios.